Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another championship run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, what we're seeing in the NFL right now is nothing short of extraordinary, especially when it comes to the AFC North, and more specifically, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This offseason has been marked by some seismic shifts across the league. But one thing that's catching everyone's attention is the volatility around star players and the potential for blockbuster trades. And I promise, what I am about to tell you could have a profound effect on the Steelers' upcoming season, maybe even more than we initially thought. It's a story that involves two of the league's most dynamic and disruptive players, and what it might mean for the division, for the conference, and for the Steelers' championship aspirations. Let us start with the backdrop. The NFL offseason is always a whirlwind of rumors, contract negotiations, and speculative moves, but this year, things seem more intense than ever. You've got a handful of high-profile players who are openly or secretly seeking new teams, and that's creating a ripple effect that could reshape the power balance in the AFC North and beyond. We saw it last week with Terry McLaurin requesting a trade from Washington, which sent shockwaves through the league. Now, just a day later, another NFC East star, Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys superstar linebacker and defensive end hybrid, has officially thrown his hat into the ring, signaling that he's unhappy with how negotiations are unfolding with Dallas. And this isn't just any player. Micah Parsons is considered one of the most electrifying defenders in the NFL today. Since entering the league in 2021, he has made an immediate impact with his explosiveness, versatility, and relentless motor. Parsons has been a cornerstone for the Cowboys' defense, and his presence on the field is game-changing. But now, amidst frustrations over contract talks, he has expressed publicly that he wants out. And that's a huge deal. You see, Parsons has been vocal about his displeasure with the way the Cowboys management has handled his extension negotiations, especially with owner Jerry Jones making some comments that didn't sit well with him. Jones, of course, has been known for his bold statements, but this time, it seems to have backfired. What exactly did Jones say? Well, according to ESPN's Todd Archer and other sources, Jones hinted that even if they signed Parsons, they were not necessarily committed to keeping him long-term. He said, just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him, which naturally rubbed Parsons the wrong way. Parsons, who has been holding in a camp in Oxnard, California, as a good faith gesture during negotiations, now seems to be eyeing the exit door. His frustration is understandable. He is a young star who has proven his worth time and time again, earning All-Pro nominations and the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year award in his first season. He is only 26 years old, and his talent is undeniable. Now you might be asking, how does this relate to the Steelers? Well, the edge rusher market this offseason has been absolutely scorching. After Cleveland Browns star Myles Garrett signed a historic 4-year, $160 million deal making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history, other teams are scrambling to lock down their pass rushers. The Steelers, of course, responded by giving T.J. Watt a 3-year, $123 million extension. That deal, finalized in July, made Watt the highest-paid non-quarterback in league history at the time, and it signaled the Steelers' commitment to their franchise cornerstone. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh's front office has always been strategic. They were not just going to jump into a trade for a player like Parsons without considering the enormous price tag that would come with him. And that's where it gets really interesting. Parsons is under contract for just one more year, which means any team interested in acquiring him would have to pay a hefty price, probably multiple first-round picks, similar to what the Chicago Bears paid for Khalil Mack back in 2018 when they traded him from the Oakland Raiders. Mack, at the time, was 27 and had just won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Parsons, at 26, has already made a significant impact with 2 first-team All-Pro nominations and a Rookie of the Year award. His potential is sky-high, so what would a deal look like? Well, in the Mack trade, the Bears parted with 2 first-round picks, a 3rd and a 6th, plus a 2nd-rounder and a conditional 5th in the subsequent deal. Dallas would likely want something similar, possibly even more given Parsons' talent and his age. And any trade would almost certainly come with a contract extension that would push his annual salary into the stratosphere. perhaps surpassing Watt's record-setting deal. But here's the twist. Parsons might just be using this trade request as leverage. It's not uncommon for players to threaten a trade to get a better contract or a more favorable situation. He might genuinely want out, or he could be playing the long game, hoping Dallas caves and gives him what he wants. Either way, the Steelers, with their strong defense and a burgeoning reputation as a team that can develop and retain elite pass rushers, are naturally a team to watch. But let us be honest, if the price tag is that high, the Steelers probably wouldn't be involved unless something extraordinary happened. Now, you might be wondering, could the Steelers actually make a move for Parsons? Well, in theory, if they were to entertain such a trade, it would require a significant investment. The Steelers have shown they're willing to pay top dollar for their stars, as they did with Watt. But acquiring Parsons would be on an entirely different level. They'd have to give up multiple high draft picks, and they'd need to negotiate an extension that ensures Parsons stays long-term. And given how the Steelers prioritize building through the draft and maintaining cap flexibility, it's unlikely they'd pull the trigger unless they truly believe Parsons can be the missing piece to a Super Bowl run. That said, the NFL is unpredictable. Sometimes, a star player's dissatisfaction can open the door for a team like the Steelers to swoop in and make a move. Imagine Parsons teaming up with T.J. Watt, forming one of the most fearsome pass-rushing duos in recent memory. That kind of combination could elevate the Steelers' defense to an elite level, making them even more dangerous in the playoffs. But of course, that's all speculation at this point. Still, it's worth keeping an eye on how this situation develops, because it could alter the landscape of the AFC North significantly. Now, beyond Parsons, the Steelers have been busy this offseason. They've added veteran talent, bolstered their line, and are looking to build on a solid 2023 campaign that saw them bounce back from a rough start to finish with a playoff appearance. The defense was a strength last year, but everyone knows to stay at the top, you need to keep adding talent and creating competition. The Steelers' front office has been aggressive, and the whispers of a potential Parsons trade are just the latest chapter in a season that promises to be full of surprises. Let us talk about the current roster. T.J. Watt remains the anchor of that defense, a true game wrecker capable of changing the outcome of any game. His leadership and pass-rushing ability are unmatched, and he is coming off a season where he was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Alongside him, the Steelers have developed young talent at linebacker and in the secondary, making them one of the most well-rounded defenses in the league. But adding a player like Parsons would take that unit to a whole new level, and it's no wonder that fans have been speculating about it. On the offensive side, Pittsburgh has been solid, but the real question mark remains at quarterback. Kenny Pickett showed flashes of brilliance last season, and the organization has faith in his development. The offensive line is also a key area where improvements could be made, especially to protect the quarterback and open running lanes for Najee Harris. But the focus now is on the defense, and with the potential addition of Parsons, they could become a nightmare for offenses across the league. Imagine the scenarios: Parsons rushing the passer, Watt collapsing the pocket from the other side, and the secondary locking down receivers. This could be the kind of defense that wins championships. But let us not forget the bigger picture. The Steelers are a franchise with a rich history of winning, and they're always aiming for that next Super Bowl. They've had their ups and downs in recent years, but the core remains competitive and hungry. The addition of a player like Parsons, or even the mere possibility of acquiring him, is enough to excite the fan base and energize the locker room. It shows that the team is willing to make bold moves to bring in elite talent. And in the NFL, boldness often translates into championships. Of course, all of this is still speculative. The trade market is fluid, and a lot depends on Dallas's willingness to deal, Parsons' own desires, and the Steelers' willingness to meet the price. But it's fun to dream, isn't it? The idea of the Steelers adding a generational talent on defense to complement Watt, creating a defense that's almost impossible to block, is exactly the kind of scenario that gets every Steelers fan's heart racing. It's the kind of move that could define an entire era, potentially bringing another Super Bowl back to Pittsburgh. Now, I want you to think about the implications. If Parsons were to become available and the Steelers managed to land him, how would that change your outlook for this season? Would you believe that Pittsburgh could go all the way? Or do you think that even with Parsons, other teams in the AFC have simply too much firepower? It's a fascinating conversation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Parsons is genuinely unhappy, or is this just a negotiating tactic? And more importantly, would you want the Steelers to go all in for a player of his caliber? As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to remind everyone that the NFL offseason is always full of surprises. The Steelers have been quietly building a squad that's ready to compete, and with the right moves, they could be back in the mix for the Super Bowl picture. Whether it's a trade for Parsons, a breakout season from Kenny Pickett, or a new star emerging from the draft, Pittsburgh's future looks bright. The key is staying tuned, staying engaged, and supporting our team every step of the way. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What is your take on all this? Do you believe Parsons is genuinely available? Would you be excited to see him in black and gold? Or do you think it's just noise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and breaking news. So make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and stay connected because the NFL season is just around the corner, and the Steelers are ready to make some noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, let us go Steelers.